On May the 5th, 2025, I'm going to be taking on 7 marathons in 7 days across 7 counties in the UK. And the aim of this challenge is to raise as much money as possible for motor neurone disease. So if you're somebody who's suffered with motor neurone disease yourself, or you know somebody who has in the past, feel free to click the link in my description, click the donation link and donate as much or as little as you can do. We've already raised close to £3,000 and we're trying our best to raise as much awareness and as much money as possible for a disease that needs to be dealt with. So the reason that I'm taking on this challenge is obviously to raise money for charity, but it's also a physical and mental battle for myself, which I'm really looking forward to. Not so long ago, I posted a video on this channel of me running my first ever ultra marathon. Now, for those who don't know, 5 years ago, a doctor told me I had a tumour in my right leg and I would never ever be able to run again. And since that day, I've wanted to take on these challenges and spread awareness to people that you can achieve so much more than what you actually believe. And as soon as I finished the ultra marathon, I thought, what a better way to set the next challenge by doing something that's not only going to raise money for other charities, but it's also going to raise awareness for people who believe that they can do things that other people think that they can. So this challenge is going to be amazing, and I'm really looking forward to documenting every single week leading up to the event on May the 5th. So every single Sunday around 6 to 7 p.m, I'm going to be dropping a video of my week's prep going into this event. And this episode that you're watching today is the first of many, and it's going to be going through my weekly training on how I'm going to be preparing for 7 marathons in 7 days. My running, my weight training, and all other types of cardio. Now, if there's anything that you think I should add in or anything that you think I should take out, feel free to drop it in the comments. I'm all ears and I'm open to any suggestions that people have, as this is the first ever time I'm ever going to be doing anything like this in my life. So I hope you enjoy this video. Please subscribe if you're new so you don't miss out on the other episodes that are going to be coming out in the future, all leading up to May the 5th for when we take on 7 marathons in 7 days across the UK. I hope you enjoy this episode and I'll speak to you soon. So obviously the number one concern is going to be running. And at the minute I'm trying to cover 30 to 50 kilometres across the week. I'm not too bothered about going fast. I've got a couple of high rocks planned at the end of the year, so I'd like to try and work on my pace. But the majority of my runs in a week are going to come from long distance, slower pace runs, just getting miles in the legs. So this morning I'm going to be running a 15k around about a 5:30 pace for the first 7.5, and then I'm going to try and pick it back up to a 4:30, 4:45 pace for the last 7.5 kilometres. So I can get used to running on tired legs. I'm covering a lot of distance, but it's just not all out trying to absolutely kill myself, because that's not going to get me anywhere for this challenge. Need to make sure that we're consistently laying down miles on tired legs and getting used to running when we don't want to. So I don't usually do a long run on a Wednesday morning before work, but with this challenge around the corner, it's actually 40 days until the challenge when I'm filming this video. I need to make sure I'm getting out here and laying down some miles. So that's how it looks with my running. I'm just trying to cover 30 to 50 kilometres worth of distance, keep the pace consistent, not worried about going too fast, and just getting out here on the days that I don't want to. Now let's get into the weight training. So with a lot of people, when it comes to these ultra endurance races, they don't really prioritise the strength training. So I've taken it upon myself to make sure that I'm still doing 3 full body weight sessions across the week. So like you'll see in the training session that I'm popping up on screen now, I'm mixing both lower body and upper body work in the same session so I can spread the volume across my muscles evenly throughout the week. I aim to do 2 sets per muscle group. For instance, if I'm doing an upper back row, I'm trying to do 1 upper back row in one session and 1 upper back row in the other session, and make sure that I'm hitting that muscle twice and doing 2 sets on each exercise. So I'm trying to just take every single set to failure to make sure that I'm providing the muscle as much work as I can do to be able to recover, with obviously the long distance running and the bike riding that I'm doing alongside the resistance training. I think a lot of people who have these endurance races don't come into them with the idea that they need to strength train, even though that's what's going to prevent your injury. And it's what's going to get you a better physique. So as much as I really enjoy doing the long distance running and I want to do an ultra marathon and do a 100-mile race next year, it's just as important to me to keep my size, make sure that I still look good, because it makes me feel good as well. So it's the whole idea of being a hybrid athlete, of somebody who can maintain muscle mass and still be able to run long distances and compete in these endurance races. And that's the idea that I love and I want to achieve. So the goal is to obviously make sure that I'm maintaining my muscle by taking every exercise to failure, making sure that I'm spreading the volume across my week evenly, so I'm not fatiguing myself and I'm not struggling to recover. That's the main thing that you need to focus on if you're weight training and trying to run and bike ride as well, is that you're still giving your body the chance to recover by maybe dropping the sets in your workout, or making sure that you're providing enough fuel around your training, enough sleep and enough recovery, etc, etc. The main issue I see with most people is the stress levels are always too high. So it's my goal to make sure that my recovery is on point, my stress levels are low, and I can make sure that I'm still progressing on my training sessions, which I did today. I actually managed to get a PB today on one of my incline chest press. I went from 105 kilos up to 110. So I'm definitely still progressing, even though I'm doing more endurance work in the week. So it's just finding how many weight sessions you can do and being able to manage that alongside the running and the biking if you're somebody who does that training as well. So that's my weight training. That's what I'm going to be doing leading up to this event of 7 marathons in 7 days. And then my other cardio I'm going to go through now. So as you've just seen on screen, that was me doing my HYROX circuits, which I do 2 of those a week with my friend Dylan. Me and Dylan compete in 1 or 2 HYROXs a year. Our fastest time was 1:06 in Berlin, and we've got a HYROX that we're going to book at the end of this year, and we're going to try and get sub 60 minutes. So even though I'm obviously training for these 7 marathons in 7 days, I think it's still important to keep on top of my HYROX training, because extra cardio and extra high intensity training is only just going to add to my cardiovascular endurance when I do these runs, and it means we can still work towards our goal of trying to get a sub 60 minute HYROX. So I enjoy the sessions. I think the training's good. It means you can get a good workout in like a 60-90 minutes, so I don't have to constantly rely on doing these longer distance running. So 2 HYROX sessions a week. This morning's session, which you'll see on screen, was just sled pull, sled push, ski and row circuit, and then we finish with a little bit of running as well. So we are getting running in those HYROX circuits as well, because obviously 50% of the HYROX, or maybe even more if you count the rock zone, is actually running. So going to be working on the legs there as well, and treating my legs, well, running on my legs, sorry, when they're tired, like my other sessions are as well, which is obviously going to prepare us massively for these 7 marathons in 7 days. So that's my circuit training. Obviously I've just gone through my weight training and my running training. I'm going to go through a little bit that I do on the bike, which I just enjoy doing every single week, because I am also training for an Ironman, which I think I mentioned at the start of this video, next October in Barcelona. So I do still try and get out on the bike as much as possible, but it's just completely dependent on the weather. And if I can't get out on the bike, I'll always just go on the erg and do the bike on the erg in the gym, just so I can still get some low intensity steady state cardio in, burn more calories, keep my fitness levels nice and high, and again just working those legs under fatigue. So I'll go through that now, and yeah, those are the HYROX circuit sessions. So that is me finishing off the bike ride this morning. We did 50k in around about 2 hours 10. I was fighting with the wind this morning though. I don't know if you could see it on the video, but through Southport, which is near the sea where I live, the wind was just constantly blowing in my face, so it was a massive challenge on the legs. But yeah, pretty much across the week I'm going to be doing 1 bike ride, maybe 2 if I've got the time, where I'm just keeping my heart rate nice and low and I'm just focusing on covering distance. I'm not too bothered about my speed. I know I said I've got that Ironman that I'm training for in October next year, but I can start worrying about speed in my bike rides as the year progresses, and once I've got this 7 marathons in 7 days challenge out the way. So yeah, 1 bike ride a week, 2 HYROX circuits, 3 full body sessions, and then 2 or 3 running sessions. Obviously one of the HYROX sessions is going to include running as well. That is what I'm going to be doing leading up until May the 5th to take on 7 marathons in 7 days. So if you're not already, make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel, because I'm going to be dropping 1 episode every single Sunday at 6 or 6:30 p.m. leading up to the event, and I'm going to be doing a big full video of all the 7 marathons, me going through them and how difficult that challenge is going to be. So next week is going to be about mindset, the week after is going to be my nutrition, the week after is going to be the week before, the weekend before I do it pretty much, so it'll be my thoughts going into the race, and then the weekend after that will be my initial post-race thoughts on the last marathon on the Sunday in Leeds, and then the weekend after that is going to be a full video of the whole experience and us raising as much money as possible for motor neuron disease and taking on an amazing challenge. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If anyone's got any advice on what you think I should introduce into my training, or anything that I should take out of my training, drop it in the comments, let me know your thoughts. See you next week, and subscribe if you've not already.